Welcome everyone back to the channel where we are focused on lowering our debt, cutting our bills, and increasing our net wealth. And how are we increasing our net wealth? Well, one of those ways is we're utilizing the Doordash platform to get to $50,000 from Doordash income alone this year. Today is Saturday, March the 15th, and our goal, we'll get to that in a moment. All right, we've got some other things that we have to tell you, some wonderful, exciting things, and some other things, some challenges. All right, so first of all, let's start off with a couple of the challenges. One thing is that we had some videos that we were working on for you, and you know what? We had the camera here attached to the computer where we were uploading some files, and you know what? We may get to those at some point, but we decided rather than waiting a couple of days, because I'm busy, I'm working it, I'm doing some crazy work right now, and so I just unplugged it and said, let's go make some new stuff and get it out there for you. Right now, current, what's happening today. If I get back to some of the other stuff that is a few days old, you know what, I'll get back to it. But for right now, let's talk about what's current. So what's happened here in the last couple of days? Well, number one, we were working with a rental car. We now have our car. It was a little bit strange circumstances. I'll tell you about that in a moment. The Airbnb that we were working with, well, that's in the process of getting sold, so there were a lot of inspections and different things, some things that need to be tidied up and worked on, so that's kind of occupied a little bit of time. But that should be resolving here within the next couple of weeks and everything. Then I've got to clear that house out and get that thing ready to be taken over by the new owners and all that stuff. Another thing that I've done is I'm testing out the Uber platform, and I was hesitant. I was like, who's going to Uber in this town? I don't know. The other day, we just signed up, and we fired it up, and it's combined the Uber ride share, where you're driving people like a taxi, and the Uber food delivery. It's all combined in the app. So the very first order we got was a food delivery, and it was super long. It was like plus 10 miles or something crazy. And then that took us, then our second order was actually, I was like trying to figure out the app. I was touching something. Be careful what you touch, folks. I touched the app and it said, oh, somebody wants a ride. I'm like, okay. So then I go to that ride, which was in another town. And then I get an Uber food delivery. And I found out Olive Garden uses Uber Eats. Okay, so I deliver this Olive Garden order. And after that, I'm like, let's turn off the food delivery. I had to turn off the whole Uber Eats platform because I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. Yeah, so it was super simple. It was just this little backwards forward thing, you know, toggle thing. You open that up and boom, turn it off. Nice and easy. But it's not like the Doordash app where everything has a menu and it's got names and everything. The Uber app is super clean. There's like nothing on it. It's a blank white screen with just a couple of things on it. The UI, as we would call it, is nice and clean. So after I turn off the food deliveries and I focused on just the rides, the Uber rides, I stayed in that town and I got a few, and I figured it would probably be okay because I didn't realize it'd be that good, but I figured it'd be okay because it's a town of 50,000 people, a little bit larger than my town, but still not in the city. So I finish up my night, I go home, and then I get up the next day, and I'm ready to do Doordash bright and early in the morning. And it goes through another day where it feels like it's not connecting, and I'm waiting for a couple of minutes, and then I thought, you know what, just for giggles, let's turn on the Uber. I turned on the Uber, bing, order right away, bing, order right after that. And so I'm driving people basically to work, and then I get a couple in my town, and then it kind of feeds me out to the warehouses, and then from the warehouses, then I wind up going out to into Indianapolis. So I think maybe one or two there in Indianapolis, and then I'm like, you know what, let's go back home. I don't want to stay in Indianapolis all day. So I come back home, and then we are able to, because I had another appointment at 8 a.m., so I had to get back home. I had some other things I had to do. I had to help a friend out, and then I had to go check on the house again. And I had left this in the rental car. And what is this? This is the little clicky thingamaboober that turns the camera on and off also. So I kind of like it. It's not a have to have. I can work it without it, but it's much easier. So there's that. So I got that. So I did 3 things. They were all in the same area of Indianapolis. So it was nice and easy and convenient for me just to do them all yesterday. And then I came home, I did some Doordash, and then at the end of my Doordash, I went ahead and did a couple of Uber rides. There's a couple of takeaways just after like 4 hours and however many, 10 or 15 rides that I've done. Number 1, you make a little bit more money than Doordash. Number 2, you're driving a lot more miles than Doordash. So you're going to have to watch the amount of miles that are driven. It's also a different way of looking at the app and trying to determine the orders that are good or bad. I think it's not so much about the dollars per mile as the dollars per minute that it takes, because a lot of times you have to drive to pick up the person a lot farther than driving to the restaurant. So it's just another way of kind of recalibrating your mind to look at it and everything. However, from watching videos and doing a little bit of research, I'm finding that there's a good likelihood that Uber is going to have some peak times when Doordash has its down times, such as early in the morning up till 9 o'clock, people want to go to work Monday through Friday. Makes sense. Then once people are at work, typically 9 a.m. till 1, 2 p.m., until that first shift starts getting done with work, it's pretty slow. However, breakfast, lunchtime, 9 till 2, that's Doordash time. And then you get people who are getting done with work. And then you get people that are getting done with work about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 6, 7 o'clock at night. Yeah, they're wanting to finish work, and then they're getting home, or wanting rides home, wanting rides to, I don't know, the grocery store, or picking up from the grocery store, or do their shopping, or whatever the case may be doing. Then you get the afternoon, probably about 2 o'clock till 7 o'clock, when people are wanting to go out and do their traveling, if they don't have a vehicle, or maybe getting finished with their daytime job or whatever and wanting to go home, whatever the case. So there's a lot more Uber opportunities there during that mid-afternoon slow time of Doordash a lot of times. And then dinner time is prime time for Doordash. And then as Doordash starts winding down about 9, 10 o'clock, that's when Uber picks back up again with the late night crowd, people wanting to go out and do things, or finishing second shift, going home from work, or possibly, going out and doing some things, and now they're ready to go home, unwind. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll see us doing both. I'm still going to stay focused with our goals with Doordash. However, with the Uber, I don't really have any goals in mind, other than trying to learn the platform here over the next week or 2. If you're enjoying hearing me ramble so far, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And let's get started. Holy flip. So today is Saturday, March the 14th. Okay, our goal today is to work for 12 hours, make $250 through Doordash, and to get 10 or so Uber rides. So I don't know when those Uber rides will come in. Right now, as I look around, it looks pretty empty right now. But we may turn it on whenever we feel that Doordash is a little bit slow or something. Or we may turn both on and see what happens first. Alright, and just let that be our guide. Our overall Doordash ratings are 97. We took a little bit of a hit. Somebody else had a quality rate issue. I'm not messing with that because we're doing enough volume here that it goes away in a week anyway. We've got acceptance rates of 93%, which is the other point that dropped. Currently, it is 6 a.m. We have a promotion of plus $1 up until 7 a.m., so let's get started. I just realized I haven't even had my first sip of coffee yet. Oh, that feels so much better. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on Doordash, and we're going to turn on Uber and see who gets an order first. Doordash is now on, and then I'm going to go to Uber, and and we'll turn Uber on. Wait a minute. Uber has a thing. It's got the thing. Oh, wait a minute. I have to take a photo of myself to make sure it's me. Alright. There's a... Let me pause orders for a minute, because there are... Let me show you this. There are purple zones right here, which means that there's an extra bonus. What? I got $8.50 on an Uber. Holy smokes. Let's go there. Yeah, 6 minutes away. We're going. All right, well, that was an interesting morning. As soon as we turned on the Doordash and the Uber app, we did get an Uber order. However, we noticed that the Uber map had some purple zones and a purple zone right next to where we were, which means that they're offering a promotion. Okay, so basically there's different colored zones. There's going to be like a yellow and an orange and then maybe a red zone, and they're kind of increasingly more important, such as like maybe the yellow or orange zone might be like a 15-minute wait for an order. The red zone might be less than a minute wait on an order, things like that. And then there's a purple zone, which means they need drivers in that area right now. You got less than 3 minutes and that purple zone goes away. So in my town, as soon as I logged in, there was 2 purple zones right next to each other, and it was pretty close to where I was sitting. So I headed over towards those zones, and one of those zones was going to be an extra $6 for accepting an order when you're in that zone. But you got to be in that zone. The next one was plus $8, like $8.30, just for accepting an order in that zone. Let's show you how that worked. So when I turn on the app, this is the first order that I saw. It says $14.82. And it's going to take me 17 minutes to get to the person to pick them up, and then their ride is going to last for about 16 minutes after that. So I was going to go pick them up in Indianapolis and then drop them off somewhere in Indianapolis. So 17 minutes just to get there, and then I was going to start getting paid the $14.82 for driving them 16 minutes. So then I get this second order that says $14.20. It's going to take me 5 minutes to get there because it's in my town, and they want to be dropped off in my town, so it's going to take me 7 minutes. So I'm kind of thinking about that, and I noticed that purple zone, so I'm trying to head towards that purple zone, and then I get this order, which says picking up in Greenfield, going to Indianapolis for $31.32, and I'm thinking, man, that's a pretty good order, but what about that purple zone? So I get into the purple zone, and look, I'm like in and out of that purple zone, and as soon as I touch that purple zone, which says plus $6.75, what happens? I get that same exact order, picking up in Greenfield, going to Indianapolis, but this time I get the $6.75 bonus. So instead of $31.32, it's now $38.41 for the exact same order, just because I moved a couple of blocks into that purple zone. I accept it, and we go to Indianapolis. All right, so it basically says 14 minutes to get there, 38 minutes to their destination. So it's going to take me about 50 minutes of my time to make $38.41. So after I do that, I'm trying to figure out some things there on the app. So I stop and I have a little breakfast. It looked good, doesn't it? That's a good breakfast. All right, so then I figure out there's a destination mode. So I choose it to go to my local high school here in Greenfield from Indianapolis. I mess it up because when I back out of that, it didn't take. So I found out what you have to do is when you toggle that destination mode on and off, then you also have to go down to where it says that home 810 North Broadway. I have to click on that, and then that brings me to the map. Did another drive there in Indianapolis, and then another one, when I figured out how to do this, brought me closer to home. So I think it was like about a $15 trip and then a $17 trip. I didn't screenshot those, sorry about that. But the total earnings for this morning from about 6 to 9, remember I took a little break to have breakfast, and then I also took a little bit more time just to kind of figure out the app a little bit more and what's going on with Uber. In 2 hours and 20 minutes, so basically a little more than 2 hours, I made $70. So a little more than $30 an hour. It sounds real great coming from the land of Doordash. Let's make $15 an hour, and I'm excited when we can get over that hump and get to $20 an hour. That's good. And now we're talking about these Uber orders, driving people around, going $30 an hour. However, you got to remember, the Uber orders, they're going longer distances in general is what I'm seeing. So it's taking more gas to get there. I'm going to turn off this Uber for a little while because we're not going to get paid on that for like a week and a half. And I'm going to focus on DoorDash for the majority of the day today. But let's get into DoorDash, see what we can do. We're probably not going to do our 12 hours like I wanted to do, but I don't know. We should be able to get to 10 hours today. So we'll see how much money we can make, and whatever we make, and we'll find a way to spend it on some bills, right? If you are enjoying things, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, man, take a look around, see all this other stuff that we do. Hit that subscribe button. Come along for the journey. So we come back into our town, and we turned on our DoorDash, and we got a couple of fair orders, a couple of bad orders, and some orders we had to toss out. It was a little bit rough, I'll be honest with you. After 3 hours, we started off with a Chick-fil-A order, $5.10 going 0.5 miles. That was a decent order. Then we get a Panera Bread, $12.06 going 13.1 miles. We did not accept that order. We get a Cracker Barrel order, $7.69 going 3.4 miles. Then a Starbucks order, $6.35 going 4.7 miles. And a Chick-fil-A order, only $3.35 going 2.8 miles. Yeah, we declined that one. And unfortunately, the orders were coming in rather slow. In addition to being low dollar amounts, they were very slow coming in. It was a rough day here with DoorDash. And then Chick-fil-A, $5.85 going 4.2 miles. Then we finally get a decent order, Lincoln Square pancakes, $8.85, and the tip got a little bit extra. They're going 3.2 miles. Papa John's was $5.85 going 4.4 miles, and a Firehouse Subs, $5.35 going 2.2 miles. So after 3 hours, we were at $51.64, slightly above our $15 an hour normal budget, but not quite to our $20 an hour where we really should be right now this time of year. Okay, so then a little bit after 4 hours, where did we wind up? We got a Steak and Shake order, $7.25 going 3.9 miles. We got a Taco Bell, which was $7.10 and a little extra, going 2.3 miles. That was our best order, I think, of this split. And then a Los Vaqueros, $8.85 going 8.2 miles. We went west, close to Indianapolis, and we tried to get an Uber to come back to Greenfield, but unfortunately we were unsuccessful on that. We ended that dash, went home, had a little lunch, took a little break to get ready for the evening shift, but after 4 hours, $75.09, we brought it up just a little bit, but still not quite to the $20 an hour. Okay, so here we are for our evening shift, and man, did we start off cranking. It was a great time. Less than 2 hours. Phenomenal. So Papa John's, two customers, $18.35 going 7.9 miles. Then we get our second order, a brand new Indian restaurant called Chaska, and that was $23.39 going 13.0 miles. Yeah, in our first hour, $41. Great start. And then we get an Applebee's. We had to wait just a minute. $16.85 going 11.9 miles. So less than 2 hours. We were at $58.59. Awesome. And then we get another order, a double order, Little Caesars and Atomic Wings, $11.60 going 3.8 miles. And then the app stops. I get a text message that there's an order, but there's no order on my screen. And then I'm like trying to restart the screen and flip screens and everything and try to get back in there. And then it finally comes up. I see it's an $18 order. And then it's gone. Auto declined because I didn't accept it fast enough. I don't know what it was, how many miles. I could have swore the dollar amount said 18 though. Could have been another great order. So anyway, I had to pause. I had to stop and restart my phone. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we stay in that algorithm because, man, it was smoking. It was great. Let's go. Get some more. All right, so we had a little issue with the app again. We had to turn it off and back on. And anyway, when we got started again, I was worried that we were into this really good algorithm. And I was worried we were not going to get such great orders. And yeah, we kind of got some good orders and some not so good. But we started off with Little Caesars and Atomic Wings. $11.60 going 3.8 miles. Then we got a Mozzi's Pizza order. $7.50 going 2.7 miles. Pretty decent order. When on our way to Mozzi's Pizza, it was wanting us to go on this route. Crazy. It wanted us to go all the way around the block rather than just going straight down the road to get there. It's crazy. Sometimes the GPS does things like that. And then we got another order that looked really good and it kind of auto declined us. And I was afraid I already had a couple of declines here this week, and so I really didn't want to decline any more orders. This order was a little bit on the iffy side at $9.25 going 11.7 miles. We went ahead and took it, and then after we picked it up from the restaurant, it was 14 miles to be delivered. We were actually going into Indianapolis. So a little crazy. After we got to the restaurant, we picked it up and we got ready to deliver it. The mileage changed to 14 miles. That's crazy. So we were a little down, but we were going to go ahead and deliver it. And then, as we're driving, we get this message that says the people who ordered from the Indian restaurant had tipped us an extra $2. That was awesome. Go to pick up from Chipotle, and this truck is taking up like 7 parking spots. It wouldn't be that big of an issue if it weren't Saturday night in the middle of dinner and every restaurant was full. And also the fact that there's like some retail shopping places right behind us that he, very well could have parked at. Like a Home Depot and Kohl's, PetSmart. A couple of larger retail places. Plenty of parking. Not in that small parking lot that Chipotle has. Alright, so then we're in Indianapolis. And we get another order that takes us even farther into Indianapolis. Taco Bell, $7.70 going 10.6 miles. Again, we go ahead and take it because I don't want those declines. But now that I'm pushed into Indianapolis, I turn off the Doordash and I turn on the Uber. And I look for orders that will specifically bring me back to Greenfield. Anybody wanting to go to Greenfield. So I get a $13 order for a ride going near Greenfield. And what happens when I pick them up? It was the owner of the brand new Indian restaurant. What's the likelihood that I just noticed the place opened? We just get a first DoorDash order from there. And I'm thinking, man, that'd be a great place to go check out. And then we give the owner a ride. So all in all, it was a pretty decent evening. We did take a couple more orders past that. We went ahead and got some Atomic Wings, $7.85, going 3.7 miles. Another Taco Bell here in Greenfield, $7.85, going 4.9 miles. And Buffalo Wild Wings, we finished up with $9.35, going 5.1 miles. I really wanted to take just one more order, but it didn't come, so we went ahead and decided to turn it off. It's time to go to bed. Time to go home. It's almost midnight, and we got things to do tomorrow. But I appreciate each and every one of you.
Okay, so how did we do for Saturday, March the 14th? Well, we wanted to work Doordash for about 12 hours and make $250. We wound up working 11 and a quarter hours. Doordash had paid us $80.95, and we got $145.58 in tips, bringing our total Doordash earnings to $226.53. And we worked for Uber for about 3 hours, making $83.67. So in just a little over 14 hours, we made just a little over $300 for Saturday. Overall, not a bad day. We're going to have to redesign our spreadsheet next week to make sure that we can add in the Uber. Uber also has Uber Eats, so we'll have to add some extra lines for that so we can calculate everything properly and give you all the proper information. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate the brand new channel subscribers also. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Join us for this journey. It's just starting to get fun.